Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye. Hare Krishna. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, 57th chapter, text 16 to 18. This chapter is entitled Satrajit Murdered and the Jewel Returned. Hare Krishna. Text 18 is in the board. We will first read the translation from 16 to 17. Translation, verse number 16. As a child of 7, Krishna uprooted an entire mountain and held it aloft as easily as a young boy picks up a mushroom. Namastasmai Bhagavate Krishnaya Adbhuta Karmane Anantyadi Bhutaya Kutasthayatmane Namaha. I offer my obeisances to that Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, whose every deed is amazing. He is the Supreme Soul, the unlimited source, and the fixed center of all existence. 18th verse, please repeat after me. Pratyakhyata satenapi satadhanva mahamani tasmin yasya swam aruhya satayojanakam gamyayo. Pratyakhyata satenapi satadhanva mahamani tasmin yasya swamaruhya satayojanakam yayo. Pratyakhyata satenapi satadhanva mahamani tasmin yasya swamaruhya satayojanagam yayo. Please repeat. Pratyakhyata satenapi satadhanva mahamani tasmin satayojanagam yayo. Pratyakhyata satenapi satadhanva mahamani tasmin yasya saruhya satayojanagam yayo. Pratyakhyata satenapi satadhanva mahamani tasmin yasya swamaruhya satayojanagam yayo. Vaishnavis. प्रत्याख्यात सतेनापि सतधन्वा महामणिम् तस्मिन्यास्या स्वमारुह्य सतयोजनगम्ययो. Word to word translation. Translation and purport. The disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Pratyakhyatah, refused. Saha, he. Tena, by him. Akrura, api, also. Satadhanva, Satadhanva. Mahamanim, the precious jewel. Tasmin, with him. Nyasya, living. Aswam, a horse. Aruhya, mounting. Sata, 100. Yojana, yojana. 1 yojana measures about 8 miles. Gam, which could go. Yayo, he departed. Translation. His appeal thus rejected by Akrura also, Satadhanva placed the precious jewel in Akrura's care and fled on a horse that could travel 100 yojanas, 800 miles. Purport. The term Nyasya, living in the care of, implies Satadhanva now believed the jewel was his. Thus, he was leaving it in the care of a friend. In blood terms, this is a thief's mentality. Hare Krishna, this ends the purport. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Shwapadantikam Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratise Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhashya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Brinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam Pangum langhayate girim Yat kripatamaham bande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Shri Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Mishwaram. Hare Krishna. This garland is so heavy. Lord is standing with this garland throughout the day without any problem. But it's really heavy. I was just thinking, with mercy comes a lot of responsibility also, and burden of responsibility. Hare Krishna. So we are seeing this wonderful purport today. Small purport, but very, very instructive. I think the most sophisticated software that has been developed in this material world is the software of false ego. And we see how it is the false ego which creates all complications in people's lives. Even if all evidence proves and everything is there, just imagine Satadharma. Let's take the example of Satadharma. Where he is staying? He's staying in Dwarka. He's the resident of Dwarka. It's not that the first time he is hearing this story that is being told here by Akrura. Oh, do you know who is Krishna? He lifted Govardhan hill. It's not that it was a miraculous, wonderful, awakening information for Satadhanva. When Akrura said, oh, I was not knowing. Oh, Krishna lifted Govardhan. It was not like that. By that time in India and in the entire world, everyone was knowing Krishna lifted the Govardhan hill. But still there was Jarasandha. Still there was Sisupal. And still there was Satadhanva. Sometimes we wonder that, oh, it would be so nice to believe with Krishna if Krishna just comes on the front, right? We say like this, oh, Krishna is just standing as a statue, not speaking. Oh, Krishna, it would be so nice if you come and speak to me and to everyone. It would be so nice to believe in you. It would be so nice to believe in your powers. We see Satadhanva, and like that so many personalities explained in Srimad Bhagavatam, they are witnessing Krishna face to face. They lived with Krishna. But what a sophisticated software this false ego is, that they could not believe what is actually the fact. He is resident, he is staying here, he knows the powers of Krishna and Balaram. But false ego completely convinces us that what I am doing is right. This is called Pashyanapi na pashyati. Just to illustrate this little bit, I'll give a small example. Very small example, but it really proves the point. What is called Pashyanapi na pashyati? How one can see and not see. Because of all the services that I did while studying in IIT Kharagpur, especially of the services like the software training workshop and all, I had to deal with a lot of professors. And while dealing with the professors also used to come to know that they are doing something else also, the students. So many of the professors used to come to know that there is some ISKCON's program and all those things that the students. So many of the professors came to know that, and though I was also a topper in the department, so they were knowing me as a person who studies well, and also they came to know that he is connected with some spiritual organization. Some were knowing it is ISKCON, some were not knowing. There was some hazy understanding, but at least everyone knew that he is spiritual. And there was one professor whom I had very close contact. This professor, in a class of 15 minutes, he would smoke 3 cigarettes, minimum. And it would be so difficult for me to go to his room because I have to deal with him. Practically, his chamber would be filled with smoke, and I have to, and then I can enter his chamber. It's like completely filled with smoke. And then I have to, and then here is dear professor, with all due respect, because he was my teacher. So he was really, really very, and sometimes he would not even smoke, but his sweat used to be so stinky, and I have to spend hours to discuss with him about the software training workshop. And it would be sometimes very, very difficult, very, very intolerable for me. But anyway, service was there and I had to deal with him. So, one time, he called me because he had my number. I had also his number. Generally, professors would not share their numbers. So, he called me. I said, I am such and such calling. I was in that time voice. So immediately come to my department and meet me. I thought some problem happened or what. So I took out cycle, wore pants shirt. I was in dhoti kurta, wore pants shirt. I took out cycle and started going. And it was just after the lunch. I was thinking to take rest a little bit. And then immediately I started. And I entered the room and again his chamber was filled with smoke. And I sat down and it was very difficult. And he was smoking with a cigarette. And he's telling, I am very, very disturbed. I am very, very disturbed. I know that you are connected with some spiritual organization. I want that you give me some things how I can control my mind. I said, sir, what happened? I have been telling my father, don't smoke, don't smoke, don't smoke. You will die. And he died. He was a chain smoker and he died of smoking. I have been telling again and again and again, you will get cancer. And now he passed away. And I am so disturbed with a cigarette in his hand. This was the first time I came to witness such a situation. I had heard from Srila Prabhupada's lectures that this is possible. But when you see to it, then you realize that what Srila Prabhupada is telling in his books is actually truth. And then I asked with all humility, I asked, sir, you are also smoking? You will also get, so please be careful. And he said, oh, what can I do? Whenever I am stressed, I do it. I am now so stressed, I have to relieve my stress. So this is the mentality of the false ego, the mentality of a thief. If I am stealing someone's property, it is for my maintenance. I require it. There are class of thieves. I have talked with one police constable. See, these inspectors and all, they don't directly deal with the thieves. It's the constables who deal with the thieves. They know the intricacy of thievery. Because they directly go, they beat the thieves, they do all the things, groundwork. So I had talked with constables. They say that there are thieves who are so proud that they are thieves. They would never let their daughters get married to any civilized person. They would only get them married to a better thief than their family. And they exist in India, not in fancy stories. So a thief, when you ask him that my dear sir, you stole it. No, this is for my maintenance. How will I maintain my family? But if the same thief, if his property is stolen, How can you steal my property? This is false ego. This person, when his father is smoking, chain smoker, you land up in the problem. When I am smoking, what can I do? I have to relieve my stress. So pashyanapi na pashyati. The false ego makes us completely convinced that I am right. There was a famous news that came up, I think 1-2 years before, that one person who committed the most gruesome crime that has happened till date in history of India. And he got convicted and he was supposed to be hanged. He gave an appeal statement, mercy appeal, telling, you know, the scripture says that the lifespan of Kali Yuga is already less. Why I need to be hanged? Please spare me. And there is a big news telling that how the person criminal is telling all these things. Where was Srimad Bhagavatam before doing the crime? But just after doing the crime, all rationalization, all justification comes, and the false ego is designed as a software to defend mind and intelligence of all the nefarious activities that mind and intelligence they do. And this mentality is where Srimad Bhagavad Gita begins with. Srimad Bhagavad Gita begins with this mentality that Mamaka Pandavas Chaiva. This is Dhritarashtra consciousness, blindness. We see Dhritarashtra. Mamaka Pandavas Chaiva. My sons will be very, very happy. If my sons will be happy, but he forgot that Pandavas are also someone's son. Not just someone's son, Pandavas were the son of his own brother. So this is Dhritarashtra consciousness, this is false ego. To not able to see someone else's happiness. I should be happy. I should get everything. Others, whatever situation they go through, who cares? And we see how Hiranyakashipu, what a philosophy the false ego gives. When he was disturbed by Prahlad Maharaj, a small boy, and the philosophy of killing Prahlad, it's a gruesome child murder that Hiranyakashipu is going to start. And what Hiranyakashipu rationalizes, what Hiranyakashipu justifies, just like there is a diseased arm, and when the hand gets diseased, in order to stop the disease from spreading to the body, the hand needs to be amputated. And that is why I will now, for saving my clan, the Asuri clan, I will get into the most glorious activity of killing Prahlad. Looks so amazing. Such a philosophy. So the false ego philosophizes the things that the mind and intelligence does, and based on the philosophy, false ego defends mind and intelligence. Exactly in the same way we see Ravana, we see Indra. Everyone did all nefarious things, but everyone, if you do an interview with Hiranyakashipu, interview with Ravana, with all these people, they would say, we did glorious things. We didn't do anything wrong. So in this way, we see that how people have defied the laws of God and lived in this thieves mentality, stealing others' property and philosophizing that this is my property. He just 2-3 days before or 4 days before, he stole it. Satadhanma stole it. And now he is philosophizing and he is convinced, as far as Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has explained, that he is convinced through this word that it is his. As if Satyajit had stolen it from him, and now he has got back Mahamanim, his most precious jewel. And that is why the beginning of spirituality begins with this consciousness of Isavasyam Idam Sarvam. The entire world, the entire universe, the entire cosmic manifestation is a property of the Supreme Lord. And I can only enjoy that much which is allotted to me on my quota. And that feeling of dependence is extremely important. That acknowledgement that everything is Krishna's property is very, very important. We see modern society is designed in a way to forget the connection with Krishna, forget the connection that everything is property of Krishna. One small boy was asked, the small boy was my nephew only, he was asked, who gives the milk? He said, Spencer. Not cow. This is how, all of you are laughing, this is how the modern society is. And that time he was living in Bangalore and he had come to Puri. And my father was so shocked with the answer. My father immediately took him, dressed him, went down, showed him the cow, showed him the udder. But he could not, the milk will not come. But at least my father was so shocked with that answer. And he showed the cow that idhar se milk aata hai, this from here the milk comes out, and this is how, this is the personality who gives the milk, and then it is processed. And then my father was so angry on my sister. They were telling, what? My sister said, I didn't teach anything. But you see, modern society is designed in a way, even if you do not teach, there is the subtle message that goes, that the Spencer gives the milk. You just put some big basket and broccoli and just comes to your doorstep. Who gives the vegetables? Big basket. Right? But in previous society, people used to actually cultivate crops. There was no question of eating the Himalayan apples. There's nothing like no courier service. Now one may wonder, we have got so nice, we have got apples from Himalayas. Right in Calcutta, I can sit and relish the Himalayan apples. But then by relishing the Himalayan apples in Calcutta, we forget that connection, how the apples, none of you would have seen apple trees. For the first time when I went to Simla, I saw the apple tree in just 2 years before. This is the apple tree which I have been taking its fruit from my childhood. So in previous times, there was no question of something coming from so far distance from the big basket, because it actually murders the connection with nature. Whatever was locally cultivated by God's arrangement, that is best for consumption of that place. And people would feel that dependence because they would see jhinga growing, lauki growing, patal growing. And there was no question of sending the patals and all those places to different places where patal is not growing, and how the people will survive. Before Big Basket and Amazon Fresh, people were surviving in different countries. One of my students in US, and he said, I asked him, how did you get all these sabjis? You are telling you are preparing bindi and all. Now there are Patel brothers and all different, those who are Gujarati businessmen, they have come, and they, previously they used to get sabjis from India, but now they understood it's becoming very costly. So they grow in South America, the sabjis, Indian sabjis, and they sell the entire Indian sabjis grown in South America in North America with the tagline Patel Brothers. Hare Krishna, the Indian stores. But in the course of doing all these things, we actually get detached from seeing nature working. Tap water. You just go and put the tube well and take some water. It's warm and hot. You take the well water, it's warm and hot. But when we use tap water, we forget this water is coming from the tap. So in this way, modern society is designed in such a way that easily you can forget the dependence on God. There is an entire hospital in Newtown known as the Pain Hospital. Their main focus is to research how to reduce pain. So when you enter an hospital, you don't see it as an hospital. You see it's a 5-star hotel. With all... And it is not designed to actually save you. It is designed to reduce your pain and reduce the pain of your pocket also. So that you come out. Sri Nitai Gaurang ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Previous time when people used to feel pain, the first thing they would ask is that I think I would have definitely committed some sinful activity, some pain to someone. I am getting the pain. Very nice, very nice. Now immediately as soon as the pain comes, take a painkiller. Cyclopam. And as soon as I take a cyclopam, oh, so nice. I lose the feeling of dependence on the laws of karma. The painkiller is designed to help us lose the laws of dependence on the laws of karma. I have given pain. Otherwise, there is no question. This world is not being managed by some engineers from IIT who have done this, their BTech thesis from cut, copy, paste. This world is designed by greatest of scientists like Brahma and all Indras. They're empowered by Krishna. This world is made with laws of the Supreme Lord. There is no question of failure. If I am getting pain, definitely I have given pain to someone else. But this feeling is lost by the modern society, modern gadgets, modern medicines. I'm not telling that we should trouble our body, we must take the medicine, but I'm just telling this is the mentality of modern society. The mentality to somehow defy and deny the dependence on God. And this is thief's mentality. To get something from someone. None of us, when we were born with an oxygen cylinder. Oh, I have to come out now. Previously, I was just in the mother's womb. I was with umbilical cord. Now I have to come out. I have to arrange for my oxygen. Anyone came out like this? We came out and oxygen is arranged. We came out and the milk is arranged. None of us went through training sessions. How to take the milk from the mother. None of the mothers go through training sessions. How to get milk. How to develop milk in my body. The baby is so designed, as soon as the baby is kept near the mother, the baby knows where to get the milk. All the mothers will accept the fact. So where Krishna gives us the resources, and Krishna also gives us the realization how to utilize the resources for our benefit. The milk is there, produced, and how to get the milk, from where to get the milk, how to suck the milk, the baby gets the knowledge, the realization. So in this way, everything is so nicely arranged, but still modern society, the mentality of the false ego is, no, there is no God. Everything is automatically being arranged. But when I do something, it is not automatic. I did something. But if Krishna does something, it is just automatic. He did some meditation. When he was born, he did some meditation and he became Krishna. One of the greatest orator and scholar in India, he just tells that Krishna and Shiva, they just did some meditation and 15,000 years ago, and they have become now Krishna and Shiva. He's a very great orator, very great speaker, so many followers. He just considers Krishna and Shiva, they're just human beings. 15,000 years ago, they did some meditation and became Shiva, became Krishna. So in this way, false ego, if someone becomes great, it's not so. But if I become great, I endeavor to become great. If someone becomes great, uska luck अच्छा था. Nice luck he has. Someday I will also. But and if I become great, I persevered. I applied so much of techniques, skills, and this and that. I went through training sessions and I became great. If Krishna is becoming great, he did some meditation to become great. If I become great, I am naturally great. This is false ego. So in this way, we see how the false ego convinces us and to this mentality of thief. But if we take the same example of a thief, now the thief can go to a big man and steal the property and always remain in anxiety and the fear. What will happen? What will happen? The police will call. But if the same thief goes to a big man and starts serving the big man with humility, everything of the big man will be provided to the thief. Yes? So in this way, if we depend on Krishna, then actually everything will be provided. Everything will be provided. Krishna is already providing us. We are already using it. We just need to acknowledge. We just need to acknowledge that how Krishna is providing us. If we simply acknowledge, Krishna, you gave us everything. Thank you very much. Then all the forces of material energy will be inlined, supporting us. And that is what is demigods and the difference between demigods and the demons. Sura and Ashura. Gauranga Prabhu says very nice thing. Those who resonate, सुर भगवान के साथ जो सुर मिलाते हैं, they are called suras, and जो भगवान के साथ बेसुरा गाते हैं, they are called asuras. Gauranga Prabhu has his own way of making it funny. But actually it's a very deep point. There is a beautiful verse when all the entire Samudra Manthan Leela happened. Mohini Devi came and Mohini Devi was just smiling, showing her wonderful bashful smiles to the demons and then feeding all the Amrit to the demigods. And the demons, she loves me, she loves me, she loves me. They're doing like this and the entire Amrit was fed to the demigods. And then in front, Sukadeva Goswami says, in front of all the demons and demigods, immediately the Mohini Murti dropped her sari and became the Chaturbhuj Narayan and went back sitting on Garuda. And all the demons started shouting, "Hi, hi, hi, hi! Oh, this Vishnu has stolen our property. Amrit is our property. Vishnu stole our property." And immediately Sukadev Goswami speaks this wonderful verse. I would like all of you to open the verse. We will recite this verse, 8th canto, 9th chapter, 28th verse. This is Falasruti of Samudra Manthan Leela. 8, 9, 28. Open. 8, 9, 28. Evam sura, all of you repeat. Evam sura suragana samadesha kala.
Evam sura suragana samadesha kala.
Hetvartha karma matayopi phale vikalpa.
Hetvartha karma matayopi phale vikalpa.
Tatramritam suragana phalamanjasapu.
Tatramritam suragana phalamanjasapu.
Yat pada pankaj raja shayanana daitya.
Yat pada pankaj raja shayanana daitya.
Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The place, the time, the cause, the purpose, the activity and the ambition. So if you see, Evam Sura Asura Gana, Sama Desa, the place, Kala, the time, Hetu, the cause or the purpose, Artha, the objective or the purpose, Karma, the activity and the ambition. The place, the time, the cause, the purpose, the activity and the ambition were all the same for both the demigods and the demons. Api, it was same, Sama. But the demigods achieved one result and the demons achieved another. Because the demigods are always under the shelter of the dust of Lord's lotus feet, they could very easily drink the nectar and get its result. The demons, however, not having sought shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord, were unable to achieve the result they desired. So this is what is the beginning of spirituality. This is not the end of spirituality. This is the beginning of the spirituality, that even if you want material desires, even if you want things of this world, surrender to Krishna. Get the fruits from Krishna. So the beginning of Bhagavad Gita begins with Dhritarashtra consciousness, where one is blind out of false ego. And it takes through the path of Karma Yoga and all those things that, okay, even if you want to enjoy this world, depend on Krishna. Get the things from Krishna. Don't defy the laws of God. Follow the laws of at least the material world. And then you will get all the fruits. All the fruits, desires will be fulfilled if you surrender to Krishna. And that is what is the mentality of a demigod. So from a thief mentality, one rises to the mentality of a demigod. One understands all the fruits are not by my endeavor. Srila Prabhupada would speak in this purport that how the karmis, they defy the laws of God and they think everything is by my endeavor, but the devotee thinks everything is by mercy of Krishna. So the demigods, they understand that everything is by mercy of Krishna. Even if I get all the material things, whatever I am getting is all by Krishna's mercy. But that is just the beginning of spiritual life. Spiritual life goes ahead, and Bhagavad Gita goes ahead, that even if you get all the fruits of the material world, those fruits will be simply unripe khatta fruits, sour fruits. The real fruit of depending on Krishna is not to depend on to Krishna for material desires. The real fruit that we get from Krishna is to depend on Krishna for serving Krishna. And that is what Bhagavad Gita ends with. Bhagavad Gita ends with Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Saranam Braja. To surrender to Supreme Lord without any material desires, just to serve Him. And then that fruit which is unripe, katta, because of the material desires, because of enjoying this material world, the demigods also depend on the Supreme Lord, but because they depend for their material desires, for fulfillment of the material desires, they are actually not satisfied within their heart. Real satisfaction will come from the success when we get everything with a desire to only serve the Supreme Lord. It is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam in the first canto that Yudhishthir Maharaj, just by doing 3 Aswamedha Yajnas, he got the opulence more than Indra, who has done 100 Aswamedha Yajnas, Satakratu. And Yudhishthir Maharaj was more satisfied than Indra because Yudhishthir Maharaj had no desire to do neither Aswamedha Yajna nor get the benefits of Aswamedha Yajna. His only desire was to serve the Lord. So when we depend on Krishna not for our material benefits, then that fruit becomes more ripe and sweet. And Srimad Bhagavatam is Nigama Kalpataro Galitam Phalam. Srimad Bhagavatam is not the ripened fruit of depending on Krishna for serving Krishna and not for material benefits. Srimad Bhagavatam is depending on devotees of Krishna, which is Galitam Phalam, more ripened, more sweet. It's sweet to depend on Krishna for serving Krishna, but it is sweeter to depend on the devotees of Krishna. When we depend on devotees of Krishna, when we feel the dependence on devotees of Krishna, we experience much, much, much higher sweetness than depending directly on Krishna. And that's what Srimad Bhagavatam teaches us. Srimad Bhagavatam takes a living entity from the consciousness of depending on Krishna to sowing the entire stories of different devotees and asking all the readers, depend on the devotees of Krishna. You will experience more sweetness than depending directly on Krishna. And that is Sri Vrindavan Dham. Tishtham braje tadanugami jananugami. If we really want to live in Vrindavan, if we really want to experience the sweetness of Vrindavan, then we have to become dependent on the devotees of the Lord, not directly on the Supreme Lord. Definitely we are dependent on Supreme Lord, but through the parampara, through the devotees of the Lord. And that is how we see that in Srimad Bhagavatam, all these personalities who assembled to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, they were knowing all these stories. Narad Muni was knowing the story of Prahlad Maharaj. He himself gave the entire learning to Prahlad. Narad Muni was knowing the story of Prasina Varisat. But he was so eagerly hearing the same stories which he knew from Sukadev Goswami. Because Sukha Mukhad Amrita Drava Samyutam. He was feeling the dependence on the devotee. Oh, here is a wonderful devotee who is speaking about the same stories. But because Sukadev Goswami spoke it, it became so sweet. And all these personalities, great personalities, though they were knowing these stories, they came down to hear from Sukadev Goswami, feeling their dependence on Sukadev. And similarly, we see Srila Prabhupada. All the acharyas have given such wonderful commentaries. But when you read Srila Prabhupada's purports, you feel so sweet. Srila Prabhupada actually has tasted the entire fruit of the wonderful commentaries of all our acharyas, of Sanatan Goswami, of Jiva Goswami, of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, have tirelessly written these Bhaktivedanta purports, and you read them, you feel not just greatly connected to Srila Prabhupada, you feel greatly connected to the parampara, and it is so sweet. We feel the dependence on the parampara and Krishna through Srila Prabhupada, through his purports. And that is what is the main motto, purpose of our distribution of these books and literatures of Srila Prabhupada. 3 days before, I got a WhatsApp message in which it said that Srila Prabhupada is telling, if you just distribute my books on the streets, Lord Chaitanya, I don't know about chanting, how you chant and all those things, but if you simply distribute my books on the street, Lord Chaitanya will definitely come and take you back to Godhead. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So these books we are distributing with an understanding how these books are Srila Prabhupada Mukhat, Amrita Drava Samyutam. This is the condensed nectar coming down from the parampara, which Srila Prabhupada has tasted himself. Srila Prabhupada himself used to say that these books are not my books, these are my spiritual ecstasies of tasting the literatures of all our parampara acharyas. Srila Prabhupada is especially empowered. And when we read it, when we distribute it, we are actually participating in this wonderful mission of our acharyas. I have personally seen this. When I came to New Town here, started preaching, all the people in the new batch will bring different Bhagavad Gitas. Someone will bring Gita press, someone will bring this, that, so many things. And I was sensitive, I would not tell them anything, and they will read. And after 3 months, they would ask, Swamiji, Prabhuji, you speak so well, from where do you read? And I said, this is the Gita I read. And from next class, everyone will have Prabhupada Gita. So, any new person with little bit of, like Prabhupada that I was telling, not stool substance. If he has the right substance, he will understand that Srila Prabhupada books are like diamonds. And when we taste the sweetness of the same philosophy that all our acharyas are giving, and the sweetness of how Srila Prabhupada is presenting it with compassion, when he reads it, when he experiences the sweetness of Bhaktivedanta purports, he will simply want to distribute that message of Prabhupada. Through book distribution, through speaking to others, inspiring others to read Srila Prabhupada's books. Because it is Srila Prabhupada Mukhat, Amrita Drava Samyutam. We should understand that the nectar of all the parampara acharyas was tasted by Srila Prabhupada and written in his Bhaktivedanta purports and delivered to all of us out of compassion. And if we read it with that conviction, if we distribute it with that conviction, we will see the transformation. But if we just distribute it, Srila Prabhupada has asked, I will go back to Godhead, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will take me, I will distribute. But if we distribute with this conviction, this is not an ordinary act. I am participating in Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela. All the parampara acharyas have empowered Srila Prabhupada to taste their teachings and present it in most wonderful compilation through his books. And I am participating in that Leela. Then actually we can see the transformation through book distribution. We can see the transformation through our classes. When we can see the transformation through the seminars and workshops we do, we can see transformation everywhere within ISKCON. When we understand Srila Prabhupada Mukhat, Amrita Drava Samyutam. This is actually Amrita, nectar, tasted by Srila Prabhupada, and we are tasting the remnants of that Amrita that Srila Prabhupada tasted through his practice of devotional service. So to summarize, we started with how the false ego convinces all of us how I am right, others have, whatever happens to them, what I am doing is right. And it stops us to depend on Krishna, who provides us everything. But that dependence on Krishna for material needs is also a fruit that we receive through practice of spirituality, but that is not a satisfying fruit. That is an unripe fruit. But the fruit becomes ripened when we depend on Krishna for serving Krishna, not for our material desires. But when we depend on devotees of Krishna, that fruit becomes most sweet, which even greatest of devotees are hankering for, and which we all have great fortune by surrendering to Srila Prabhupada in ISKCON. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Prabhupada book distribution ki, Srimad Bhagavad Mahapuran ki, Samaveta Gaura Bhakta Brinda ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande.